Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a real conversation tonight. Living alone as an older person is a topic folks don't talk about enough. It's one of those things people don't really prepare you for. Society paints this picture of independence, and sure, there's beauty in that. But there's another side to it, a deeper, quieter side. Let's uncover together. Here are 6 truths about living alone that no one tells you, but everyone should know. When you live alone, the silence is one of the first things that greets you. It's not the kind of silence that comes when you pause the TV or when a conversation dies down. No, this is a profound, all-encompassing quiet that settles into every corner of your home and your life. At first, it can feel strange, even unsettling, as if the absence of noise brings an unsettling clarity. You hear things you might never have noticed before: the faint creak of the floorboards, the hum of the refrigerator, the wind brushing against the windows. But it's not just about the physical silence, it's about the inner silence that begins to surface. Without the constant noise of other people's opinions, expectations, and demands, you are left alone with your thoughts. And that can be intimidating. The silence asks questions you've been avoiding for years. Who are you when no one else is around? What do you truly desire? What do you believe in when there's no one to agree or disagree with you? The quiet has a way of stripping away the distractions of daily life, forcing you to face yourself in a way that's both challenging and transformative. It's in this stillness that you begin to realize how much of your life has been shaped by external factors. You've been influenced by the voices of family, friends, colleagues, and society. But now, those voices fade, and you begin to hear your own. The silence is an invitation to dig deeper, to reflect on your past choices, to reassess your values, and to reconsider the path you want to take moving forward. In this quiet space, you start to notice things about yourself. You confront your fears, acknowledge your regrets, and examine the dreams you may have set aside. And while this process isn't easy, it's necessary. Because only in acknowledging the parts of yourself you've ignored or denied can you begin to grow into the person you're meant to be. The silence teaches patience. It teaches resilience. It teaches the beauty of being fully present in your own company. Over time, what once felt like a void begins to feel like freedom. The silence, which seemed so heavy in the beginning, becomes a friend, a space for clarity, a sanctuary for your soul. It doesn't change overnight, but as you learn to sit with the quiet, you discover a strength within yourself that you never knew existed. Living alone, especially as you grow older, brings with it a wave of loneliness that is far deeper and more persistent than most anticipate. It's not just about being physically alone, it's about the absence of the small, everyday connections that many take for granted. The quiet moments of shared laughter, the casual conversations over breakfast, the sound of another person moving through the house, all of these vanish, leaving behind a hollow stillness that can feel almost unbearable at times. This loneliness isn't just about missing companionship, it's about the profound sense of isolation that can creep in when you realize that so much of the world keeps moving while your circle grows smaller. Friends and family are busy with their own lives, and the invitations that used to come so freely might now be fewer and farther between. The phone doesn't ring as often, and days can blur together in a rhythm that feels devoid of connection. Holidays and milestones hit especially hard. Birthdays that were once celebrated with a room full of laughter now pass quietly, marked only by a card in the mail or a fleeting phone call. Special occasions, once filled with tradition and togetherness, can feel like painful reminders of what's been lost. Even the simple act of cooking dinner can become a poignant moment as you prepare a meal for one and sit at a table that used to hold more chairs. The loneliness is a teacher, though its lessons are harsh. It reveals the fragility of human connection and the deep need we all have for companionship, no matter how independent we believe ourselves to be. It strips away the distractions of daily life and forces you to confront the ache of your own heart. It makes you yearn for the things money can't buy: a genuine conversation, a warm hug, the feeling of being truly seen and understood by someone who cares. Loneliness can also bring with it an unsettling sense of vulnerability. There's a heightened awareness of your own mortality, a deeper understanding of how much you rely on others, even for the smallest things. Living alone means there's no one to share the burden when things go wrong, no one to notice if you're unwell, no one to reassure you when doubts creep in late at night. Yet, in the midst of this, there's a hidden strength that begins to emerge. You learn to sit with the loneliness, to acknowledge it without letting it consume you. You develop a resilience you didn't know you had, a capacity to find joy in your own company and meaning in even the smallest of moments. When you live alone, one of the most striking realizations is the sheer freedom that comes with it. It's the kind of freedom that many people dream of, but few truly understand until they're immersed in it. You are the captain of your own ship, the architect of your days. You decide when to wake up, what to eat, how to spend your time, and when to call it a night. There's no one to consult, no compromises to make, no schedules to coordinate. For the first time, perhaps in years, maybe in your entire life, every choice is entirely yours. But freedom, as exhilarating as it sounds, is also a weighty responsibility. When there's no one else around, the decisions you make or don't make are all on you. There's no one to blame if you skip a meal, leave the laundry undone, or binge watch TV instead of pursuing a goal. That autonomy can be both empowering and overwhelming, because along with the liberty comes the realization that you must now be accountable for everything, down to the smallest detail. You're free to explore new hobbies, reinvent yourself, or simply relax without explanation. But you're also faced with the challenge of structuring your days and finding purpose in them. There's no built-in routine of caring for others, no expectations to fulfill that naturally shape your time. You have to create your own rhythm, your own reasons for getting up in the morning, and that can feel like both a privilege and a burden. The freedom can be intoxicating at first, a rush of independence that fills you with excitement. You can decorate your space however you like, spend hours in solitude without interruption, and revel in the joy of being unapologetically yourself. But as the days stretch on, that same freedom can begin to feel like an open expanse, endless and without boundaries. It asks you to be intentional, to decide what you truly want from your life and then work to build it. There's also the unexpected side of freedom, the emotional weight of it. When you're free to choose, you're also free to fail, to make mistakes, to feel the full force of your decisions without a safety net. It requires courage to embrace this freedom fully, to trust yourself to navigate the challenges of life without relying on others to guide you. You begin to realize that freedom isn't just about doing what you want, it's about understanding what truly matters to you and having the discipline to pursue it. This kind of freedom reveals your strength, but also your vulnerabilities. It tests your ability to stand firm in who you are and what you believe, even when no one is watching. It asks you to be both the creator and the caretaker of your own life, balancing the exhilaration of independence with the reality of responsibility. When you live alone, something remarkable begins to happen. You start to reconnect with parts of yourself that may have been buried under the weight of obligations, routines, and the noise of daily life. The solitude creates a space, not just in your home, but in your mind, to rediscover the hobbies and passions that once ignited your spirit. These aren't just activities, they're pieces of who you are, waiting to be uncovered and nurtured again. With no one else's schedule to prioritize, you have the time to focus on what truly interests you. That dusty guitar in the corner, the stack of books you've been meaning to read, the sketchpad you haven't touched in years now, these things call to you in the silence. There's no pressure to be perfect, no audience to impress, no deadlines to meet. It's just you and the joy of doing something simply because it makes you happy. Rediscovering hobbies isn't just about filling time, it's about reigniting the fire within you. Maybe you've always loved painting, but haven't picked up a brush in decades. Now, with quiet evenings stretching out before you, you find yourself sitting at the easel, blending colors and losing track of time. Or perhaps gardening becomes your refuge, a place where you can dig your hands into the earth, watch life grow under your care, and feel connected to something larger than yourself. This journey back to your passions is often surprising. You might stumble upon new interests that you never realized you had. Cooking might transform from a daily chore into a creative adventure, where you experiment with flavors and techniques. Writing, whether in a journal or stories, might become a way to process your thoughts and emotions, helping you understand yourself in deeper ways. The beauty of living alone is that there's no judgment, no interruptions. You can dance in the living room, sing at the top of your lungs, or build a model airplane without anyone rolling their eyes or telling you it's a waste of time. It's a liberating experience that allows you to reconnect with the pure, unfiltered joy of doing something for yourself. Hobbies and passions also provide a sense of purpose and accomplishment. They give your days a rhythm, a goal to work toward, and a sense of progress that's entirely your own. Whether it's knitting a scarf, learning to play the piano, or practicing yoga, these pursuits remind you that growth and joy don't have to stop no matter your age or circumstances. As you immerse yourself in these activities, you start to see how much they nourish your soul. They bring back memories of who you were before life got busy and remind you of the things that make you unique. More importantly, they help you build a relationship with yourself, teaching you to appreciate your own company and find fulfillment in moments of quiet creativity and exploration. When you live alone, especially as an older person, you quickly realize that the smallest things in life take on an entirely new weight and meaning. The little routines that once seemed inconsequential, like making your bed, preparing your morning coffee, or tending to a houseplant, become pillars of your day. These small acts provide structure and a sense of accomplishment, even in the absence of grand plans or bustling activity. They ground you, reminding you that life is made up of these tiny, fleeting moments. A walk to the mailbox can become an event. The simple act of stepping outside, feeling the breeze on your face, and hearing the crunch of gravel underfoot takes on a richness you might never have noticed before. Even the sound of rain against the windows or the sun streaming through the curtains becomes something you savor because it breaks the silence and fills the space with a sense of life moving on around you. Tasks like grocery shopping or running errands, which used to feel mundane, now carry a deeper significance. They require planning and effort, but they also serve as opportunities to interact with the world, to exchange a smile or a kind word with someone. These small exchanges can mean so much more when you're not constantly surrounded by people at home. A casual conversation with a cashier or a neighbor can lift your spirits in ways you never expected. Even moments of self-care like cooking a meal or taking a long bath take on a different energy. When you live alone, you do these things for yourself, not because anyone else is watching or expecting it, but because you deserve to nurture and care for your own well-being. That shift in mindset turns small, everyday actions into acts of self-love and resilience. On the flip side, the small inconveniences can also feel larger. A flickering light bulb or a clogged drain is no longer just a quick fix, it's a task that you alone must figure out. These minor hurdles test your patience and resourcefulness. They remind you of your own capabilities, but can also highlight how much you once relied on others to share the load. The absence of noise, no chatter, no footsteps, no hum or shared activity also sharpens your awareness of these small things. You notice the sound of a ticking clock, the way the floor creaks under your feet, the slight rustle of the wind outside. These details, which you might have ignored in a busier household, now stand out vividly, becoming part of the fabric of your daily experience. The little rituals, watering the garden, journaling before bed, or even just lighting a candle, become sources of comfort and stability. They're reminders that while the big things in life may change or fade, the small things are always there to anchor you. These tiny moments, often overlooked, are where life unfolds quietly and meaningfully. Living alone teaches you quickly that life is full of surprises, and being unprepared can turn minor inconveniences into major challenges. Preparing for the unexpected becomes not just a matter of practicality, but a form of self-preservation and empowerment. When you don't have someone else to lean on in the moment, your ability to anticipate and manage unforeseen events becomes one of your greatest strengths. Start with the basics: your home. A leaking faucet or a sudden power outage might seem like small things, but when you're alone, they can feel overwhelming if you're not ready. Having tools on hand, knowing where the circuit breaker is, and understanding the basics of home maintenance aren't just handy skills, they're vital. The act of preparing your space for these possibilities gives you peace of mind. It's not about expecting things to go wrong, but ensuring you can handle them when they do. Then there's your health, a cornerstone of independence. Unexpected illnesses or injuries can happen to anyone, and when you're on your own, they require careful forethought. Having a well-stocked first aid kit, knowing how to manage minor medical issues, and keeping emergency contact numbers easily accessible are simple steps that can make all the difference. Regular checkups and staying on top of your health ensure you're as ready as possible to navigate any challenges that come your way. Financial preparation is another key area. Living alone means you bear all the financial responsibilities, and unexpected expenses can throw things off balance quickly. Building an emergency fund, budgeting wisely, and planning for contingencies are critical. It's about creating a cushion for yourself so that a sudden car repair, a medical bill, or job loss doesn't spiral into a crisis. Financial preparedness gives you the confidence to face the unknown without fear. Mental preparedness is just as important. Life is unpredictable, and emotional resilience is your shield. Living alone often means you have to process and cope with life surprises on your own. This is where cultivating a strong sense of self, practicing mindfulness, and developing strategies to manage stress come into play. When you know how to steady yourself in moments of uncertainty, you become less reactive and more capable of finding solutions. Community support is another essential part of preparing for the unexpected. While living alone emphasizes self-reliance, no one thrives in isolation. Building relationships with neighbors, staying connected with friends and family, and knowing who you can call in an emergency provide a safety net. It's not about relying on others for everything, but recognizing that being prepared includes knowing when and how to ask for help. Being ready for the unexpected also involves planning for larger life changes, retirement, changes in mobility, or shifts in your social circle. Thinking ahead about things like downsizing, modifying your home for accessibility, or creating a living may not be easy, but it's necessary. These preparations help ensure that when life changes, you're not left scrambling to adjust. Living alone sharpens your ability to think ahead, to anticipate needs, and to act decisively when the unexpected arises. It's about creating a life where surprises don't throw you off balance, but instead serve as opportunities to demonstrate your resourcefulness and resilience. Living alone as an older person is a journey of discovery, challenge, and profound growth. It is a life that calls you to embrace solitude not as a burden, but as an opportunity to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world around you. From the silence that teaches you resilience to the small moments that become the fabric of your days, every aspect of living alone is a reminder of your strength and adaptability. It challenges you to prepare for the unexpected, to find joy in simplicity, and to foster connections in meaningful ways. Living alone teaches you to rely on yourself while appreciating the support and community around you. It invites you to confront your vulnerabilities, to celebrate your independence, and to approach each day with a renewed sense of purpose. Though the path may not always be easy, it is undoubtedly transformative. Living alone as an older person offers a chance to rewrite the narrative of solitude not as loneliness, but as an empowering chapter in the story of a life well lived.